They always seem calm. No panic, no rage, no messy emotion spilling over the edges. They are the person who doesn't flinch, who makes others feel steady just by being in the room. You admire that, maybe even envy it. You might even be that person yourself. And in a world that rewards composure, who wouldn't want that kind of control? But pause for a moment. What lives under that calm? What did it cost to become someone who's always together? Because there's a difference between calmness and silence, between being grounded and never making a sound. Carl Jung once wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul, even if that anything looks like peace." It starts innocently enough. They're praised for being mature, confident, for not making a scene, for being the reliable friend. So they adapt. They become the eye of every storm, unshaken, predictable, always under control. But sometimes, what looks like emotional mastery is actually emotional avoidance. They never yelled, they never cried, but they never really opened up either. Gabor Maté calls this the cost of being good. Because when calmness becomes a shield, a way to manage other people's discomfort or protect yourself from rejection, it stops being calmness and starts being armor. And armor, while it keeps you safe, also keeps you distant. They never break down. Always calm, always fine. But fine isn't a feeling, it's a mask. Carl Jung described this mask as the persona, the version of ourselves we wear to be acceptable to others. For many, calmness becomes that mask. But real stillness isn't quiet because it's hiding something. It's quiet because it's whole. Suppression, on the other hand, is tense silence. It's the body holding in what the heart never got to say. You might seem composed, but if your chest feels tight when you're okay, if your smile feels rehearsed, you may not be calm. You may be constrained. The shadow, Jung said, holds all the parts of us we exile: anger, grief, desire, need. And when calmness is used to push those things away, you don't become peaceful. You become divided. So ask yourself gently, is your calm an anchor or a disguise? Control doesn't have to mean suppression. It doesn't have to mean staying silent when something hurts, or staying small so no one gets uncomfortable. Real control is different. It's not about managing appearances. It's about inner coherence. They always seemed in charge. But beneath that, they didn't feel free. Their control was about surviving, not thriving. But you're allowed a different path. Control can be rooted, grounded, present, not stiff, but stable. It can mean pausing before reacting, naming a feeling before burying it, choosing your response, not performing it. Bell Hooks once said that love and abuse cannot coexist. The same goes for control and fear. When control is fused with fear, it distorts you. But when it flows from self-trust, it expands you. So rewrite the meaning. Let control be a form of self-respect, not self-denial. Some people speak with silence. Their voice doesn't rise. Their face doesn't shift. They say, it's fine, and maybe even believe it. But Bessel van der Kolk, trauma expert and author of The Body Keeps the Score, reminds us, what isn't expressed doesn't just disappear, it gets stored. In the body, in the breath, in the way the jaw tightens when no one's watching. They never yelled, but they also never really said what they needed. And over time, their calmness became less of a gift and more of a guessing game. But here's the shift. Calm doesn't have to be quiet. Calm can speak. It can say, I need a moment. That hurt. This matters to me. You can be composed and clear, poised and present. Real calm isn't the absence of emotion. It's the ability to carry it without letting it spill sideways. You were told to stay calm, but were you ever taught how? True calm isn't just breathing slower. It's listening inward before speaking outward. Here's where integration begins. It starts with asking yourself, what am I actually feeling beneath this calm? What do I need? Not to explode, but to express. Emotional regulation isn't about swallowing the truth. It's about learning how to serve it warm, not raw. Try journaling before conversations. Practice saying one sentence that reveals, not conceals. I'm not upset, but I do feel overlooked. I'm calm, but I still need a boundary. This is emotional fluency, and like any language, it gets easier the more you speak it. Control, when rooted in presence, allows you to move through tension without abandoning yourself. It lets you hold space for others and for yourself. You don't have to choose between calm and connection. The real strength is in combining them. They always looked composed, collected, even admirable. But something about their calm felt distant. It wasn't rooted, it was rehearsed. Carl Jung wrote that the persona, the mask we wear, helps us survive, but not always thrive. And when calm becomes a mask, it can start to suffocate the self beneath it. But there's another kind of calm, not the brittle kind that breaks when tested, but the kind that holds because it's honest. Grounded power is calm that knows itself. It says, I'm in control, not because I feel nothing, but because I've learned to feel without losing myself. You don't have to shout to be powerful, but you do have to speak. True presence isn't just stillness. It's the integration of voice, emotion, and clarity. It's knowing when to breathe and when to say, this matters. You were never just low maintenance. You were navigating the world without asking for too much. You learned that silence kept the peace. But now you're learning that peace is more than quiet. It's a kind of truth. Calm, yes, but full of feeling. You are allowed to be composed and connected, to set boundaries and stay soft, to carry stillness and speak your truth. The person you were, the one who held everything in, did their best. They gave you survival. But now, you're ready for more than survival. You're ready for presence, for clarity, for power that doesn't come from silence, but from wholeness. You're not just peaceful. You're present. And that presence speaks louder than calm ever could.